Cancer, it's Suzanne with Sunny Forest Tarot here to do a weekly reading for October 5th through October 12th. It's a very, very windy day here today. And you know what? Whenever it's a really windy day, okay, it's like there's an energy of air, right? So I'm seeing a lot of air energy coming out in the readings today, you know, and windy days are days when, you know, what do you do when you're outside on a windy day? You end up thinking, all right, just like, you know, on a rainy day, which, you know, indicates water, emotion. Sometimes a rainy day can bring out a lot of emotion. Think about it, okay? All right, so what are we doing today? We're gonna take a look at your connection. We're gonna take a look, you know, I mean, depending on it, you know, where you're at, you know, this might be a friendship. This might be a friendship on the verge of a connection, on the verge of a relationship. You know, it could be a scenario where the two of you are in separation for some reason, or you've recently broken up for some reason. It could be a situation where you're in a relationship and it's trying to level up to the next step in the relationship. We don't know, all right? But we're going to take a look. And just so you know, I am inviting and allowing reversals in this particular reading. Okay, so that's new for some of you that have been with me for a while, all right? I won't always be doing reversals for sure. It definitely lengthens my readings, you know, because I feel like a lot of times I have to explain what the card means in the upright to explain what it means in the reverse, okay? So anyway, let's get started. All right, look at that. Ten of Swords. I can't tell you how many times this card has come out today, okay? It's come out in every single reading today. Sometimes it comes out in the upright, sometimes it comes out in the reverse. So again, windy day here. Ten of Swords, you know, this can be a betrayal, but this can also be an outlook on life. Like, life is not fair to me, all right? It can be a victim mentality. It can be a martyr mentality. In other words, everybody before me. So, but this, we're talking about a reading here where the two of you share the energy of all the cards in some way. So both of you might be looking at life in terms of not being fair. Okay, and because this is the first card, I don't feel like this is a specific betrayal. I feel like this is an attitude of thinking life is not fair. That's Pebbles barking in the background. Boogie ended up in his crate because from the last reading, he was a nut. And now Pebbles is barking, which she never really barks. So I feel like the dogs punctuate my readings. I swear they do. So she is barking at something or validating what I'm saying here with this Ten of Swords. So let's see what we have here. We've got King of Wands. So first of all, you could be dealing with an Aries or you could be dealing with a fire sign, all right? But this is interesting coming up together like this because King of Wands, you know, is a really, you know, wholehearted, attractive, cheerful, you know, self-assured energy, you know, with a lot of sex appeal, okay? So, you know, I feel like both of you feel that way about each other, you know? So I feel like this is a hidden energy for both of you, all right? So both of you might be presenting to the other person, hey, I've got it together. I'm confident. I am self-assured. I know what I'm doing. But when you're by yourself, this is what you do to yourself. Okay? You question everything. You question life itself. You question how life treats you. And we all do that sometimes, okay? Don't think that, we don't, because everybody does that sometimes. But just like the Nine of Swords, when this is an attitude, which I feel it is in this particular reading, it's not serving you. And it's a constant question for me. Like, why do people do this to themselves? Why do people choose to be in this energy? I used to do that all the time. I used to, my biggest regret in life, and I'll share this with you, is, when my mother was dying of cancer, okay? My biggest regret, because, I was in a corporate job, for the longest time that I hated, okay? And, I would call her up on a daily basis, okay? And I would share with her, what a victim I was. What a victim I was with, my boss. And I'll be honest with you, I have never dealt well with bosses. Never. From the time I worked at Sears, okay, that was my first job, I have never dealt well with bosses. And that's on me. It's like it's something to do with authority figures. I just never dealt well with that. Okay, I've been fired because of it multiple times, all right? And that is my biggest regret, is that I didn't share equally, at least, my joyful moments with her. And she was always wonderful talking me through it, really taking my side, but, she would, sometimes she would say, you know what, honey, you might need to change your direction. And, she even said, maybe, she's like, I see you as doing your own thing, being an entrepreneur or starting your own business. And I wrote that off immediately. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I immediately, went into this Ten of Swords, like, life isn't going to allow me to do that. Are you kidding me? I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm not creative enough to do that. So, and the reason I share that with you truly is because, I was able to, and get this, I literally got fired on a Friday from a job that, of course, I hated. And that next day, I was told that my mother had, 2 weeks to 2 months to live. And that's what started my spiritual journey on a whole nother level, okay? It did. It I was allowed to, take care of my mom for the last 6 weeks of her life. I was able to be there. I was able to hear, I was able to, help her. I was able to help my stepdad. It was a painful thing to see somebody go through that, right? And that was a gift. Anytime I've gotten fired, and trust me, I always felt it coming because I hated where I was. I hated what I was doing. When I was a corporate trainer, I loved doing that. Loved it. But when I got into, medical operations, oh my God, I can't think of anything worse. It just was not for me, you know, and I would always just question and wonder, like, why on earth do other people enjoy doing this? You know, unfortunately, strangely enough, unfortunately, I had a lot of success in it. So that kind of kept me around. And, but I was also very honest. I wouldn't do certain things that my boss would ask me to do, which were completely unethical. I'm just going to say they were. And, you know, and there was retaliation. Have I ever brought a suit against an employer? No. Would I ever? No. It's just not in me. But yeah, you know, I don't know why I started telling you this, but I think, you know, especially with my mom, you know, I know why I started telling you this, because, you know, I made myself out to be, you know, this victim all the time. And I'm so sorry that I did that. That, again, was my biggest regret, because I didn't share enough of my joy with her. I didn't. And I do have a regret around that. I'm happy that I was able to be there at the end. You know, I was able to devote, you know, my time, you know, to her, live with her, give her, you know, support during that time. And if I had not been fired that Friday before, and I literally got the call the next day, I would have avoided that. I absolutely would have avoided that. And I would have regretted that then too. So I feel like, you know, that all happened the way that it did. So I wouldn't regret not having been there at the end. Okay? So anyway, that's how I see, you know, this 10 of Swords. You know, when life is difficult or becomes difficult, there's two ways you can look at it. You know, you can look at it as, you know, this is going to take me down. This isn't fair. This is, you know, not what I wanted. And all of those are probably valid. Or you can look at it that, you know, there's a bigger perspective. There's a bigger perspective that you can't see as to why something may not feel fair right now, or may feel like it's going wrong right now. Because if the universe always has your back, and I truly believe it does, because in retrospect, anytime, you know, I've gone through a hard period in my life, I can see the reason for it, you know, 6 months or a year down the road. Well, that was the best thing for me. That was the right thing to happen. Okay? And it's a truth throughout my entire life. And believe me, you know, from an outsider perspective, you know, and I have created a lot of my own challenges in life for sure. But to me, it was because I was doing the right thing, or trying to do the right thing. And if the right thing brings me to getting fired, I didn't care. I didn't care. I never cared, because it got me out of something I didn't want to be doing. But what it never seemed to teach me was, you know, going forward in life, why did I continue to choose the same type of role? You know, it was maybe out of, you know, wanting to be comfortable, wanting to not worry about money. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. And I always have ended up regretting doing that. So, sorry to go off on a tangent. There's somebody that was helpful too, even if it's one person. But But yeah, I felt like with King of Wands and Ten of Swords, that tells me the reason I went into that is because you're definitely, to the outer world, you're presenting as very confident, very charming, very like you've got it all together. But when you're alone, this is where you're at. All right, so let's see. What do we have here? This has come out a lot too. Ace of Wands. This, I feel like both of you have a certain level of enthusiasm for each other. And I actually feel like somebody here, and because we're doing a combined reading here, I feel like both of you have expressed some type of passion or some type of indicator that you want each other. And it's not surprising with this King of Wands energy here at all. Okay, you could be dealing with an Aries or another fire sign here. I feel like there was the expression of, I want this. All right, but this is your secret right here. Whoops. And then we've got the Tower. Okay. So what could have happened here is this mutual expression, okay, could have caused something to unexpectedly change. And I almost feel like this is a dual, because this is where your insecurity lies, okay? There are insecurities here, but you're really, really good at hiding them. And I feel like this is attached to this Ten of Swords. It's like your insecurities got the best of you, and you started telling yourself stories, or you started feeling a certain way that wasn't based in any fact. So in other words, if the two of you express some feelings for each other, or express some passion, or, there was some type of conversation, you told yourself after that, I said too much. I blew it. I revealed my hand, and I'm going to end up paying for it. And this is coming from this Ten of Swords. It's not coming from either of these cards here, the King of Wands or the Ace of Wands. It's coming from the Ten of Swords. It's coming from what you keep hidden from everybody. Okay? All right, Ace of Pentacles. So we've got Ace of Wands and Ace of Pentacles. So there is a passion in the physical world that you want to continue to grow. And so does your person. Your person wants to continue to grow this. There's intention here to grow the connection between the two of you. Not tear it down. Okay, we haven't gotten any reversals here. Okay, and I think it's the first reading where we haven't gotten any reversals. And then we've got Eight of Cups. So this reading in particular is a little bit sad to me because I know that a lot of what's happening is stem from how you're thinking when you're alone. Eight of Cups, this position right here has been, I feel like, what Spirit is trying to send a message, okay? This might be an ego move for somebody, okay? It might be an ego move for you, meaning, you know what? I said something really stupid, or I feel like I said something really stupid, or I feel like I revealed myself, or I feel like, I put myself in a position of weakness, and you know what? I'm just going to walk away, and if this person follows me, great. If they don't, then they weren't worth it. And that attitude is coming from this Ten of Swords, without a doubt, because this is how you look at life. You look at life like it's unfair, unjust, like you're a victim in some way. And, you know, if everything doesn't go perfectly, or if everything doesn't go your way, and this, again, this is for your person too. You know, you find yourself very disappointed. And that's very in the box thinking. Okay? This reading is challenging you to think outside the box. Like, what might be the bigger picture here? Because there's definitely intention to be with you, and you definitely have intention to be with this person. There's a lot of passion here. There's a desire to actually grow something in the physical world. This Tower here, you know, is, again, coming from this Ten of Swords, your perception of life. The universe is going to show you what it is that you expect from life. So this, you know, feels very, very false, like a false perception that leads you or the other person to walk away, to maintain your ego in some way, to maintain your, you know, King of Wands energy. And that feels very sad, because that's not really what's going on here. This is coming from your thoughts, coming from your head, what you tell yourself. Thoughts are probably, you know, thoughts change more than any other element. So one day you could be feeling like this, the next day you could be feeling like Ace of Cups. So it's really bad idea to make any big decisions like Eight of Cups off of any type of thoughts that are fleeting. Thoughts are always fleeting. And thoughts, you know, people think that they have control over what they think. And, you know, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes thoughts just happen to you. And, you know, you can feel that. You can feel that when, you know, when thoughts just happen, because they do. All right. This reading is going way too long. All right, so I want to clarify Ten of Swords, the Tower, and Eight of Cups. This, to me, is all positive energy. Ten of Cups clarified by Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. All right, so this says that there is an impatience around what's going on with you and this other person. This other person could be very impatient as well. Something here needs attention. This is what this is saying. The way you're thinking needs attention. It does. What do we have here with this Tower, which I feel is completely connected to this Ten of Swords? We've got the Hierophant in the reverse. So it's like this is saying we've got to change the status quo. Where we're at right now isn't working. And it's completely within you to change this, because the connection's here. It feels like it wants to happen, but our thoughts are getting in the way. So there's a need to change the status quo, you know, in order for this to not fall apart. Eight of Cups clarified by, look at that, Ten of Pentacles. That's a weird combination, okay? You know, and that's why I say that this is the spot for Spirit to speak to us. Eight of Pentacles, yes. Somebody here might have walked away to save their ego, to not feel this Ten of Swords energy. Okay? And Ten of Pentacles, you know, is about complete abundance, complete having everything you want, having everything you need in life with this person. It's like, even if, you know, whoever has walked away or is getting ready to walk away because of ego, they're going to be pulled right back. The Eight of Cups, you know, can, you know, wherever you start to draw the number 8 is where you end back up. This is a Ten of Pentacles potential situation here, potential connection here. And Spirit is not going to let you or them walk away from this because of ego. Okay? So there might be a break that happens here, but when it comes back around, you're moving towards Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Look at that. You know, it's like the intention to start something and grow it all the way to Ten of Pentacles. This feels like a big lesson that you're going to go through. It could have been much easier. I'm just telling you, but a lot of people have to learn their lessons like this, and that's okay. That's okay. Okay? All right, so let's see what you need here. All right. Especially with that Ten of Swords and that Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. What do you need? All right. King of Wands. This is where the ego is coming from. And then let's look at right here. All right. So Ten of Pentacles, or sorry, Ten of Swords and Seven of Pentacles. Healing for sure. So instead of thinking about how unfair life is, or maybe you were dealt a challenging hand, at least right now, it's thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about what, you know, why this situation is happening the way it is, or why it's unfolding the way it is. It's forcing you to do some healing on yourself. Why do I think the worst? Why do, when I spend time alone, assume the worst or assume negative thoughts? All right. When you're out and about in public, or when you're, you know, you're showing your best self, this might be a little bit of a mask for some of you. What do you need here? You need discernment. So you always have a choice as to how you present to the world. You can present to the world in the absolute best light all the time, but that requires a mask. If there's a mix, a little bit of Ten of Swords and King of Wands, that's more honest for you. And if that were the case, we wouldn't end up with Eight of Cups, somebody walking away for ego reasons. All right, so there's definitely here with the Hierophant in the reverse, there's a need for a change of the status quo, breaking free. Okay, I feel like this is about breaking free of this Ten of Swords mentality, okay, because it just isn't serving you. Sometimes it's really hard for people to get out of that, though. But if you journal, you can see when that Ten of Swords crops up on you. You'll see it. And there's no reason not to be honest in your journal. But it can really show you your pattern of how you think in life if you journal. But this is saying here, you know, you could make this really hard or really easy, but it does require you to be very discerning and very honest about who you are to the outer world, just as much as you are to your inner world. And it also says you could be more positive and healing to yourself in your inner world. You're very hard on yourself when you're by yourself. And that's recommending that you break free from that. You can, okay? All right, guys. That was a long one. All right, so there might have been a Cancer out there that needed to hear all that, and I hope it was helpful. And if you are looking for a deeper, more personal reading, you can certainly reach out. I am doing a special on our readings this week, so you can check that out in the description box below. But if not, no worries. I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Bye.